Welcome to 843 TV. I'm your host, Wayne Morris from WHHI TV.
And I'm your host, Carrie Manning with the Village Spa. Today we are here at Spring Island, which is an amazing place. And as unique as this island is, so is our show today.
A little different.
We're setting it up a little different. We only have two guests, and our first guest is Miss Tammy Randolph. She is the director of the Wellness and Fitness Center here, which center doesn't really do it justice.
She has a lot under her umbrella.
She wears many, many hats, and she's here to talk about all of the amazing amenities and all of the features that it has, and it covers the gamut.
It does. And our second guest is John Strother. He's the broker in charge here at Spring Island Realty, and he's going to talk to us about some very, very impressive lots and home sites that will blow you away, I assure you. And also he's going to talk to us about some cool hunting amenities that they have here. So Tammy's going to talk about the more athletic amenities, and John's going to talk about some of the outdoor stuff. So it's a great show. Stay with us. We'll be back with 843 TV.
Where communities come to speak.
.843 TV, where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Spring Island comes to speak.
Where the town of Hilton Head Island comes to speak. Where Port Royal comes to speak.
.843 TV.
Where communities come to speak.
Welcome to 843 TV. We're here this morning with Miss Tammy Randolph. She is the Director of Recreation and Wellness. How are you this morning?
Well, thank you. And you?
So obviously we are sitting in another beautiful facility located here on Spring Island. Tell everybody about the structure of your programming and why it's so popular here. It's beautiful for beginners.
It absolutely is. That's definitely one of the best reasons for its popularity. We actually have a very diverse group of folks here on Spring Island, and their needs for exercise are equally as diverse, very active. So what we do is we try to make certain that we get all of the exercise recommendations in our programming, as far as cardiovascular training, muscular strength training, and flexibility training. So we do that through our class curriculum, which offers about 30 classes per week.
Oh, wow.
We also have individual instruction available as well. We see upwards to 200 clients per month. Actually, I take that back. We probably see about 200 clients every 2 weeks for individuals. So individual training is very important here as well. And then really the vast majority of our visitors use the center on their own. So we may actually just develop programming for them, and they want to carry on and work with themselves. So
It's a beautiful facility. You
It
can
is.
absolutely see why it would have a draw.
thank
Isn't
you.
it great? Wow, 200 visits every 2 weeks. That's incredible. There are only 400 members here. And do you actually give a fitness evaluation to every new member coming in here?
Well, it's not a requirement, but we do encourage everybody to undergo a fitness evaluation because that allows us to know much more about that client, and then we can tailor their exercise needs around that. So I most likely have performed a fitness evaluation on, I would say at this point, 75% of our residents.
Wow.
That's such a great perk to being a member, to have somebody that's looking after your health and willing to help you and train you individually. I mean, that's incredible benefit to living here and being a member.
Absolutely.
So if I was living here and I came in for the evaluation, what's that made up of? What are some of the components of the evaluation?
Sure. Well, the first thing we want to know is your health history.
Okay.
It's very significant to us being able to tailor a program that is going to best benefit you. Then we break it down from that health history, including medications, any previous injury or illness, or chronic medical conditions that you may or may not have. Then we'll look at postural deviation, and also muscular weakness. And from that point forward, if there are any deviations to one's posture, it is certainly going to transfer and can cause additional decline in your gait movement patterns, that performance, of course, on the golf course. So then
Which is always a significant
definitely significant here. So that's what we look at in the evaluation.
You know, it's so important to longevity and long-term health to fix these problems and start these good habits immediately, as soon as you can, because we were talking earlier, once you retire or you have some more time in your life, your kids move out of the house, you have more time to focus on fitness and health, and that's really a key time to do it. because you're starting to encounter some health issues at that point, possibly.
That's very true. But I will say this: I just gave a small lecture to a closed group of ladies earlier this week, and I brought to them the point that what you do in your 40s and 50s really has the most influence into what happens whenever you become the age of our residents.
Absolutely.
Here. So.
That's great. You got to start soon.
You do indeed. You do indeed.
So I've heard from other members, we were talking right before we started, that you focus not only on the body, but also on the mind. I think that's a huge, shift in the paradigm, so to speak, universally right now, because I think people are really understanding the difference between that. But explain that a little bit and tell everybody why that's so important.
Yes, it is. And actually, we're focusing more on that, not only as a science and exercise science, but also here in our center. And that is because cognitive decline is something that none of us are immune to. We can all expect to some degree. And really, exercise science right now is looking at ways that we can either decrease the presentation of that, or certainly slow the presentation of that, or the progression of that. So what we are doing here in the center specifically is working on exercises that work contralaterally. So it is great for rotational stability, but it's also great for coordination in the coordination center of the brain. We also will do, what I use as an example is I will introduce footwork drills. So using an agility ladder, which is something that you see oftentimes with young athletes, I just introduce it to my older athletes here. And whenever you can stimulate the brain by giving a footwork pattern where they have to move through and process it mentally prior to performing it, or concurrently with performing it physically, you can see a direct increase in the respiratory rate, heart rate, performance on both aspects. So a little frustration develops sometimes, but it is.
Well, because a lot of times it's probably something that they've never tried before.
Very much so. Yes.
I was going to ask, how ahead of the curve is this? I mean, has this been going on for a while in your industry, or is this relatively new practices?
I don't necessarily think that it's relatively new. Actually, there are different forms of it. Integrating music into an activity, performing an upper and a lower body together, counting in a foreign language. There are many different ways to approach it. But I will say that there is a big push in the field of exercise science, just because we're seeing such an increase in presentation of dementia or Alzheimer's and those kind of conditions. And so I think that just because we are seeing additional cases of this, we're really looking at it in the science field, trying to control that.
Yeah,
as
it
best
sounds
we
like a
can.
very valuable and important program to have here.
It's a
I
great.
think it's about, that's kind of my soapbox, so I'll save you all that, but I think it's about time that Western medicine catches up with that. Mm-hmm. It's not a new theory.
No, it's not. And the research is great.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is more than just a place to come and work out. This is a place to enrich. Y'all have yoga, and just all, the whole person, the whole spirit.
Absolutely, and that's exactly going back to how we design our programming. It really is involving the entire whole wellness of a resident. We do that through our educational sessions as well, plus our massage therapy program and our exercise program. So.
A healthy mind, body, and spirit is very important.
I think there's more we need to cover with you, so stay right here. and you stay right here. We'll be right back with more 843 TV.